Hi, and welcome to Paper Route Scrapbooking. I'm Nadine, and today I'm participating in 30 Days of Sketches with Christy's Beautiful Life Series 16. Welcome to my channel, everyone. So today we are going to be working with this super fun sketch from Miss Carrie. And she is Miss Carrie Creations on social media, so make sure you look her up. I will have her link in the description box, so make sure you hit that show more button and find the links to not only Miss Carrie's creations but also to the Facebook page where you can find all these super fun sketches, as well as all of the albums. So if you go into Christy's Beautiful Life 30 Days of Sketches Facebook page, you can find all of the albums under media, albums, and then all of the albums that hold the 30 sketches from the previous series. So she has now 16 albums worth of 30 sketches. So that's a lot of sketches, right? And then there's also a link to the collaborative playlist where the YouTube creators who are doing 30 Days of Sketches can just add our videos to the same playlist. So you can just hit play on that playlist and have it playing in the background while you're, doing whatever. So you can be creating, you can be cleaning your house, you can be, just having it on in the background. So if you like that sort of thing, that might be the place to go. So Carrie's sketch has this strip of green across the bottom here, and then she has two photos here and some banner pieces coming out from either side of the photo. She has a little tab up here. She has a square with a photo grid in the middle, and then a strip of pattern paper above and a strip below, and another tab up here, and some I think these leaves are meant to represent some embellishment here, here, and here. So in following Miss Carrie's sketch, I did do a strip across the bottom. So let's talk about what products I chose to use for this. So for this layout, I picked two wood grain papers that I had a matching set of, and I think I pulled these from, I believe it was, a paper pad that had a bunch of wood grains in it. I could be wrong. It might have been a paper collection that had a bunch of wood grains in it. Either way, I had two of the same wood grain paper, and I liked that it had this distressed kind of look to it for this particular layout. So I took these two and I butted them up against each other for my background, and then I used this little 6.5 inch by 6.5 inch paper pad by Kaisercraft called Scrapyard. It's pretty old and it's been well loved. There's only a couple of sheets left of full size 6.5 by 6.5 in there, but I did a few tricks that I'm going to show you. And if you've been following along with me on my Facebook Lives with Create Red Deer, which is my local scrapbook store, we have been working with smaller size paper pads, and I've been sharing some of these ideas with you. So one of the things that I learned from Allison Davis over at Scrapbook Generations, if you haven't gone over there, you should check her out. She has a wealth of information that she shares with everyone, and she has a blog. She's very generous in sharing her ideas, information. She's also a sketch creator. She is lovely. Go check her out. Anyways, one of the things that I learned from her is this little trick about using 6x6 or smaller sized papers. And if you use the striped ones, you can carry that pattern all the way across, and you don't see the seam in the middle because the stripe hides it. Okay, so like there is a stripe, there is a seam here, obviously, because this paper is only 6.5 inches, but because there's that pattern of stripe, you don't see the seam. You have to really look for it because the way that the pattern is, it's hidden. So that's one of the tricks that I learned from her, and I used that on here so that I could use this idea from Carrie's sketch to do that strip along all the way across the 12 by 24 inch layout. So that's the first thing I did, was put the stripe strip across the bottom of the whole layout. Then the next thing I wanted to do was put 2 photos with some banner pieces in behind. Now I didn't have horizontal photos for this, so I flipped my photos and put them this way, and because I was using 6.5 by 6.5, I didn't have something to put in behind both of them, but I just matted my photos with the 6.5, so I made it 6 1/4 by 4 1/4 photo mats, and then I just butted them up against each other. And I feel like it gave that same vibe as what was happening here. And then I was able to use, so one of the tricks that I do when I use a 6, and I've showed this already in one of my other 30 Days of Sketches videos, is that I take scraps of used up packaging and I glue it with my ATG, and I just attach it to the back of my small paper pad, and that's where I put my scraps so that I can keep them with this paper pad without having them tucked and falling out of the actual paper pad. So that's one of it, and just makes a little pocket, right? And then if it's too long or whatever, I just cut the top off. So I took a bunch of the strips out of these, and then I laid them down on my paper before I put my photos down. And then I just used my T-square, and so this like blue one, for example, was only like this big, and then I cut banner pieces into the ends, and then I sliced it in half. Didn't even have to be straight because it was going to be behind my photos. And then I just put one piece on this side, one piece on this side, and just kind of drew a pencil line where my photos were going to be, so that I knew that it was going to be outside of my photo. Okay, and then I did that all the way down so that I had them sticking out of both sides of my photos. And this piece, again, this is more than 6.5. Now this ended up getting a little bit covered up by my journaling. We'll talk about that later, but this is the same sort of idea. So there is a seam here because this is more than 6.5 inches, but because it's a kind of a striped paper, you don't see the seam again. Okay, so that's how I hid that seam, was by choosing a pattern that looks kind of striped, so you don't see the seam. It's hidden in the pattern. Okay, so that's how I did that. This is actually a sticker. I had stuck a couple of, this was from a sticker set that I was gonna kind of toss out, and then I was like, you know, it kind of matches with this, so I had tucked it in here. And it was just a couple. I think this sticker and this sticker were left on the sheet, and I cut around them and I threw them in here, and I was like, if I use them, I use them. If I get through the paper pad and I haven't used them, they can go in the garbage. And I just ended up putting them on here, and I really like how that turned out. So I did that, tucked that in there, and then I placed my photos on. Okay. What else did I do? So that was that side. That's how far I got before I moved over here. And then on this side, I followed Carrie's sketch again pretty closely. And I did take some sheets out of the paper pad, and I put 4 1/4 by 4 1/4 photo mats, cut my photos down to 4 by 4, and I put 4 photos. Again, I didn't have anything big enough to make one frame because I was using a smaller paper pad, but I did 4 1/4 by 4 1/4 frames or mats, and then I just butted them up against each other. Before I actually laid them down though, I took a strip of patterned paper from the paper pad that was, I think it was like 3 by 6 or 3 by 6.5, I guess, because this is a 3.5. And I sliced it in half, and I put 1/2 up here, 1/2 down here. Again, I used my T-square so that it would line up. And I put 1 strip across here, 1 strip across here, and then I put my photos on top. So in behind here, there's a big gap. where there's no paper. It's just a strip of paper here, a strip of paper here, and it looks like it's in behind there, but it's just a couple scraps of paper. And I think that's about it as far as the sketch goes. There is a little tab up here. So I did punch a ticket and a tab from the scraps from that paper pad, and I put those where the sketch is. There is a tab up here also. I did punch a circle, by the way, and put it in behind that sticker piece on this side, but I didn't do that over here. I didn't do it the same way. I didn't really have a reason. That's just the way it turned out. And then I had, so this paper pad, I don't know if you can see it, but it had a couple of sheets that had these punch out pieces. And I still have a few of those. You can see one of them right here, this boy's circle. So I had a few of those in there. This is one, this is one, this was one, but I didn't like the sayings on all of them. So this one I covered up with a ticket punch, punched a scrap out of here, and then I had a couple of little mini from other tickets that I'd punched. I have the mini pieces that come from that same punch, and I made them into almost like a ribbon piece just to make sure all the words were covered up. This one, I didn't like the saying on it, so I cut the saying out of a different one that was the same color and then glued it on top because I liked the shape of this one better. So it's hard to see on camera, but if I hold it up, you can see how it's layered on top of there. And then I wanted to carry that circle element down here as well, so that it was in all three of my journaling cluster, or in my embellishing clusters. So I took a punched out piece that was that circle shape as well and tucked it in there. Okay. And then I added my title with some thickers, gold thickers. And then I wanted to take that same gold color. I was running low on thickers. I only bought one pack of these, and or maybe I got it in a kit or something, because I usually buy 2 or 3 of the same font, but I only had one of these. So I wanted to add some like pieces in. So that's how I ended up with adding my journaling ahead of time, was that I wanted to put these quotes on my journaling, thought about putting them on here, and then decided I wanted them on my journaling. So I made my journaling tag. The tag ended up being too big, but anyway, that's beside the point. So I cut my tag out of the same patterned paper as this, then realized it was going the wrong way, but I rolled with it anyways. So, yep. Punched just a hole for the eyelet and put in some baker's twine. And so I added the journaling before I came on camera. That's all good. And then I put a couple of little pieces from that same thickers set in a third spot so that it's kind of carried around onto the next page. So that is how I matched up with the sketch for today and where I got my things from. Now, in terms of embellishing, this, like the other one, and I think this is going to happen a lot with the photos I have from this mystery house, because the papers that I chose for this were not themey. I didn't have anything that was, and later I did notice in some of the stores that they have things like, especially where I live, hunting's really big, so there were things that, you know, you can buy that are themed with weaponry. But I didn't want to purchase them. So I'm just going to roll with what I have. And I think it's going to be all good. I think it's just going to be fine. And I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. So I'm going to pull things that are just kind of random. And it's a good way to like tackle that stash, right? So I did the same thing I did last time we did one of these mystery house layouts. And I went into my random bits and bobs and I pulled some more of these Tim Holtz stickers from, and this time I kept the book out so you guys could see it, from Small Talk, from Tim Holtz Ideology. And then I also pulled a few pieces of wood veneer. I don't have that on my desk because it's a giant iris container. And then I have, I pulled out this this is my like random metals container that are like too big for my little round brads and eyelets containers, and they're kind of like super random, but they're organized by color. I think I might pull a sheet of these too, or two, see if we can get some of those on there. And then I put some of the metals from here. I pulled out a few that I thought maybe could go on this layout. And then I grabbed a sheet of enamel dots that I thought coordinated with the papers on this layout. So that's where we're going with that. So let's see what we can add to the layout. I'm just gonna kind of pull these out and show you what I picked. So like you just watched me randomly choose these. I'm thinking like maybe somewhere on this photo mat piece, or maybe like on either end of my stripe strip or this big strip, I don't know. So I want those. I'm also thinking an arrow in each embellishment area might be fun, or maybe one down by my journaling, because I'll read you my journaling. It says, in the room where we waited for the tour to start, there was a historical, oh, I shouldn't have in there. Maybe I need to reprint. There was historical paraphernalia from the Winchester Gun Company, and in the room where the tour ended, there were costumes from the 2018 Hollywood horror film Winchester about the popular legend of the haunted heiress Sarah Winchester. So, and then, so here's my other arrow. And that one kind of already has arrows. So let's see if we can just put one up here. And then I have a random black star, which I thought would go well with like star, right? Because they're like Hollywood kind of stuff. And then this is like a tab piece that's just like kind of a paper clippy thing that I thought might go somewhere, like holding things down. This is a random brad that I don't know what it's from, but it's been in there for an eternity. So I thought, let's see if I can get that on here somewhere. And then I got all these metal gears that I thought would go good on here, because we're talking about metals, right? So I thought maybe I could do 3 of each color, because I have a silver, gold, and copper in different sizes for each one. No, I want definitely so silver, gold, and copper for each spot. And there we go. And then those, and I think that might be good. I don't know quite where we're going to put those. So I'll probably pause the camera for a minute, because it'll take me a minute to adhere all of that. And then I think I'm going to stamp my date right here. And I just left the date because I think the last one I did was from the same tour. And then I want these sticker pieces, and this one says live, create, tell the story. So I think maybe here. And this one says make a difference. And then this one says stay curious. So there we have that. Yeah, and like I'm thinking like maybe these 2 big ones would be kind of cool, like at either end of the strip. Because each one, I don't know if you noticed, but they each start and end with like a bigger white stripe. So that might be nice. And then maybe one here and one here. Might be cool. Okay, so maybe we'll leave it at that. All right, so hang on, I'm going to grab some white glue and maybe some glue dots, and I will pause the camera, and then I will come back and we will put on some enamel dots together, okay? All right, so I shuffled a few things around. I just moved these gears up a little bit, and I moved this arrow up here, and this little brad down there, just to give it a little bit more cohesion. And then I moved this star into the center of my photo array, and I really like how that turned out. So let's just get a few enamel shapes onto here, and I think I'm just gonna put 3 in each cluster. So these enamel dots that go with this Scrapyard paper pad, is that what it's called? Yeah, Scrapyard by Kaiser Craft. And I'm gonna put these just, I think like 3, 1 in each size, into each cluster. So we'll just make that work, and I'll just pick one from a different kind of color grouping and different size, and just kind of sprinkle them around, and I think that'll just work out just fine. So 1 in that grouping, and 1 of each in this little grouping over here. So I am loving how this turned out. Thank you to Miss Carrie who created this sketch. I think this was really a lot of fun. I always love it when I find a sketch where I feel I can use a lot of scraps, which is what this one was for me. And I feel like I did that. I feel like all of these were scraps, and these were scraps, and this wasn't. I feel like I used pretty much the whole sheet of this silver stripe here and here, and then I used some full sheets for this these photo mats. But like, man, they sure went a long way. It was really awesome. So thank you, Miss Carrie, for that. And a big thanks to Christy from Christy's Beautiful Life for all the hard work that she puts in every time this little series comes around. I know I appreciate it. I love working from sketches. I feel like it's a really great jumping off point for me. I love scrapbooking and I love being creative, but I am always in a hurry when I sit down at my scrapbook desk, and I love to have a jumping off point. So sketches are really great for that. So thank you. And I think that is going to be it for today. I will take some photos and add them to the end of the video, a few detail shots maybe. And you can find, I will try to remember, because I'm not always great at this, to add it to the album too. So if you go into those albums where the sketches are and you scroll the comments, people are posting their finished layouts in the comments, so you can see how other people interpreted the sketch, okay? So that's it for today. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I really appreciate you being here. I love hearing from you, so if you have something to say, please don't hesitate to leave a comment or question in the comment boxes. And I hope you all have a great day. Bye for now.